A pathway to peace signed in a French palace and confirmed in the car park.
You signed the MOU? It's signed, yeah. It's signed? I signed it in Versailles.
The French President Emmanuel Macron and his wife hosted the lavish event where US President Donald Trump signed an agreement to end the war with Iran.
This was not easy.
I think what we're going to see is a period of uncertainty, of a lot of drama. In other words, is the agreement going to hold or not?
The president announced the deal with Iran at the G7 summit.
We reached an agreement with Iran that achieves everything we set out to accomplish, everything and much more.
According to the president, the key challenges had been overcome.
Ending the current conflict, reopening the Strait of Hormuz, and preventing Iran from ever obtaining a nuclear weapon. That's what it was all about.
Back in Iran, President Masoud Pezeshkian held up his own signed copy of the agreement on state television.
The best spin I can put on this is that we've returned to the pre-war status quo. This agreement is a strategic win for Iran. It is a strategic defeat for the United States.
In the 14-point Memorandum of Understanding, the terms of the administration of the Strait of Hormuz were outlined. Iran has agreed it will not charge commercial vessels for 60 days only, and it will conduct dialogue with Oman to define the future of the Strait of Hormuz.
The wording is quite careful on this in the agreement, in that it says, there won't be fees for a period of 60 days. But after that, it says, Iran and Oman are going to get together and discuss this. And so that leaves open that we might actually be headed back towards some kind of fee for passage through the strait.
Kelly Greco is a senior fellow at the Stimson Center, focusing on US foreign policy. She's concerned the agreement includes removing all US sanctions on Iran.
If it does involve significant lifting of sanctions, which is what it appears like, at least on the paper, it is the United States removing a really important source of leverage when it comes to any future nuclear negotiations.
The US has also agreed to develop a definitive, mutually agreed plan with at least $300 billion for the reconstruction and economic development of Iran.
Well, President Trump was really clear that this is not going to be U.S. government money. In other words, that essentially the U.S. is sort of giving permission for others to invest some $300 billion in Iran. Now, where this $300 billion is going to come from is not at all clear.
Emeritus Professor Mark N. Katz is from George Mason University. For 35 years, he taught government and politics and wrote about military policy in the Middle East. Who would add to that fund, to that plan? Which kind of country would be inclined to?
What's the point if there are sanctions there? So, and that I think is where Trump feels that he has, the upper hand. In other words, that the Iranians have to create the conditions under which others will invest. And then, of course, maybe the Chinese will do so.
In the Memorandum of Understanding, Iran has agreed it shall not procure or develop nuclear weapons. But Professor Katz isn't sure Iran will stand by this.
Maybe I'm too cynical, but it strikes me that their agreement that they're not going to acquire nuclear weapons, either it's a sign of good faith that they're really not going to do so, or it's a sign of duplicity.
The US has also agreed to immediate and permanent termination of military operations in Lebanon, despite the ongoing conflict between Israeli forces and Hezbollah.
The United States and Israel started in lockstep together, an agreement on war aims around this attempt at regime change. But I think what we see is there came a point where Israeli and American interests started to diverge. Particularly the more Israel was focused on Lebanon and the Lebanese threat, and that the president started to see, I think, the economic realities as being more important than the security threat coming from Iran.
How has Israel reacted to the Memorandum of Understanding?
Oh, they're furious. I mean, this is their worst nightmare. I mean, they really thought that, when this war began in February, that they knew they couldn't bring down the Iranian regime on their own, but surely with the U.S., they could bring it down. Well, they didn't bring it down.
Despite signing the agreement, the US president admits he's prepared to change his mind.
No, it's not final. It's a memorandum of understanding. And if I don't like it, we'll go back to shooting at them, dropping bombs on their head.
And if anything goes wrong, it's on his vice president.
This way, if it works out, I'm going to take the credit. If it doesn't work out, I'm blaming JD. You better be careful, JD.